Welcome to Walking with Jesus Bible Study. We are going to be in the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. For God hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, as also ye do. To sum it up, this is basically telling us that we need to be ready for Christ's return. Each generation, every generation throughout time has claimed that these are the end of days. Right now, people are arguing over when the Lord is coming back, saying that these are the very end of days, that we need to get ready and prepared. And they want to argue over what day it shall be. The big problem is that people are too busy arguing over when Jesus is coming back, instead of being prepared for when he comes. Why? I'm telling you right now, why should we care? Truthfully, really, why should we care on the day when God comes back? Because truthfully, I'm telling you, the only reason why somebody should really care to know the true date of when Christ is coming back is so they could slack off and wait to the very end, to the very last minute, to get right and to do right by God. I say shame, shame, shame on you. You know why? Because people forget that God can see and he knows your heart. You cannot hide nothing from him. So you think by waiting to the last minute that God didn't realize that you was doing that you was procrastinating, you was putting off? Let me just live it up. Since I know Christ is coming on this day, I'm just going to live it up. And then on this day, the day before, I'm going to do what God asked me to do. It's a sadness. It's shameful. But I'm here to tell you something. Something very important. And let us get this all straight. Because truthfully, and I do mean every single generation that has been past and yet to come, is correct. These are the last days. It was the last days in Jesus' time. It was the last days in the 1930s and in the 1970s and in the 2000s. And it's the last days in 2024. How is that possible? Because God clearly tells us that tomorrow is never promised. We don't know when we will live or when we will die. We don't know if we will live to see Jesus coming through the clouds. You see, those people in Jesus' time that died, they're dead now. People, and all the people from the 1930s are pretty much all dead now. Those literally was their last days. See, every generation is living the very last days. For we are all in the ends of days. We are not promised tomorrow. We don't know when we will die. So putting and procrastinating off things until you can sit there and argue and be like, oh, okay, you know what? They say that Jesus is going to come around this year because going by this and to look for the signs, and we're going to do this math, and we're going to do this math, and so he's going to come on this day. So we're going to put off what the good Lord asks us to do and how to live until maybe a week before this time, maybe 2 days before this time, and then we'll get right with God. But who told you that you was going to live until that day? The pride and the arrogance of yourself, thinking that you have the right to live until that very moment, until that day he comes. Before every downfall comes pride. The pride and arrogance of Satan is what cast him out of heaven. Don't let your pride and arrogance, because you know and you was told that on this and this and such time, or it is not ready yet because all the prophecies have not been fulfilled out of the Bible. I've got time. I ain't worried about it. Don't let your pride and arrogance keep you from getting right with God today, because you are not promised tomorrow. You could die in your sleep. You can die in an airplane crash. You can die in a car crash. You could die choking on a piece of chicken. You could die crossing the street, choking on coffee. A simple fall down the stairs that you did not see coming. A tornado, a hurricane, or a flood, and you just drown. You do not know what life has planned for you. To be so prideful and so arrogant that you're going to live up until the very moment that they claim that Christ is coming back, to put off getting right with God. Today is the day. Each day is our last day. God never said he was going to make tomorrow. Jesus is coming back. It don't matter when we know about it and if we do. The point is he's coming back. And you don't know if you're going to live to see that day or not, because your life is not promised tomorrow. So are you, if you was to die, if you was told that you was going to die in 5 hours, and 24 hours, and 72 hours, and 7 months, are you ready? Are you prepared? When you look at yourself, when you look at your life, are you going to sit there and think that God is going to allow you into the gates of heaven? Have you done what he's asked you to do? Have you lived the life that he has called you to do? Tomorrow is not promised if Jesus is coming back.